My brother was unarmed. They planted a gun in front of witnesses inside of the crime scene.
What about your child? Where your child at? Where your child at? You want to tell us to get on the sidewalk without safety? You should have told that officer the same when he shot my son 48 times with AR-15. So they let me know he was no threat. And you want to tell us to get on the goddamn sidewalk?
Whose streets?
These are goddamn streets. You pay your salary, I'll pay your salary. Our loved ones are being shot like this in our community. My son was shot like this in a community. Hands up!
Don't shoot!
Hands up!
Don't shoot!
We need some laws to protect us. We need some laws to protect us. We can't depend on them to protect us. Did anybody ever thought about who policed the police? Who policed the police?
And what do we want? And what do we want it? What do we want? And what do we want it? What do we want? And what do we want it? United, we'll never be defeated. Stop police brutality.
My son is Alan Dwayne Bluford. Today is a direct connection in the murder of my son, Alan. He was 18 years old. 2 weeks before his graduation at Skyline High School. He was a 3.0 grade point average student. He works for Oakland Unified School District, serving and working in the cafeteria. On May 6, 2012, Alan was brutally shot down in East Oakland by Officer Miguel Masso. He and his friends stood out, waiting to be picked up. They were racially profiled. Because of the color of their skin, they were roughed up. They were thrown against the fence. They were thrown on the ground, and my son took off running. Had they not judged him by his color instead of asking him a question, my Alan knew his rights. He was not under arrest. He was free to leave however and whenever he wanted to without being terrorized by the police.
There are too many young, especially young black males being gunned down and killed, and they're not armed, and they're not doing anything. And we live in an area where a time where it's like open season on killing young black men.
Exactly.
And this is not a new problem, it's been going on.
Pay attention to the stories because they will make it seem like they're doing your community a favor when they're murdering us. People don't seem to pay attention until it affects them, okay? Our family now, your family later, okay? We need to stand up.
My brother was murdered by the Vallejo Police Department on September 2nd, 2012. We're out here protesting against the urban shield that they're arming these police, with more weapons to terrorize us. We're out here to show how important it is to stand up and speak up because these police officers are not drug tested, they're not psychologically evaluated, but we keep arming them with more weapons to terrorize our communities.
Why is it that police can murder us and get away with it? All they get is a paid leave. They don't get a psych evaluation, they don't get a drug test. They just go back to work and continue to kill, continue to terrorize. I believe that is so, it's unjustifiable. It's inhumane.
Are we going to put up with this crap? No, we are not going to put up with it.
We need to start organizing in our community. Just like we was always taught, we first learn this from our mother. And and if you notice now, the movement is ran by mothers now because a mother's cry, a mother's pain. And so we need to go in the community now and let mothers know it's not because your child got killed by black on black or whatever it may be. Homicide is homicide. We need your support just as well as you need our support. You want justice, we want justice. So we need to get to that point and bridge and come as one and fight together because the only way it's going to change is if we come together.
We'll make history if we get these mothers together from one place into another place all together. We will make history, we'll make change, and we'll hear their points of views, man. First thing, figure out what's going on in these mothers and how they feel. That's what's more important. the people need to see how these mothers are feeling. Because a lot of people don't understand until it happens to them. So we need to get these mothers and let them know, open up their eyes, say, look, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what happened to my son and my daughter. In hopes that they will get involved and say, hey, let's stand up and make this change because I don't want my son or daughter to die like theirs. Or 48 bullets shot at my son or my daughter. Along the way, we've encountered many other families who have been killed after my son by police, unarmed people, unarmed adults and kids. So this issue has not stopped, it only has continued. They're not doing no better by being militarized by Urban Shield.
Getting Urban Shield out of the Marriott and out of Oakland hosting, that's a major victory. And that's due to the cross movement building that we've been doing, and we should celebrate that. But we want to stop Urban Shield altogether. We want to end militarization, and we want to actualize genuine community safety and transformative justice rather than building more prisons, policing our communities, and surveilling our communities.
So we got to start organizing in our community. We can't just protest downtown. We got to take it to another level. We got to go in the community now. We got to go to Starbucks. We got to go to the mall. We got to get the freeway. We got to cost their ass. They don't care about us protesting. They care about when you mess with their money. They only understand Phineas. And everybody know what Phineas is, right? Money. We are nothing but a product that's been sold. So what we gonna do? We gonna sit here and feel sorry for our goddamn self, and we gonna organize and get it bowling. What we gonna do? And I want you to look right now. I want you to look at everybody next to you. You are your brother's keeper. You are your brother's keeper. Anybody got kids out here? Anybody got a grandmother out here? Anybody got a nephew or niece? You look at them and you hold on to him and let him know that you're gonna fight and you're gonna care for him.
I am Oscar Grant's uncle, affectionately known to the community as Uncle Bobby. I stand here as a male and an uncle, but we must love these teary-eyed mothers. So those last 4 mothers that you heard speak, as well as you hear myself speak, have intimately been affected by the militarization of the police. And so what they're doing here in Oakland, we'll applaud that. So we want to say to all of you who are standing here today, thank you for coming out here. Thank you for supporting this event. Thank you for speaking to this issue.
As other speakers have pointed out, while projects like Urban Shield hide behind the rhetoric of safety, security, and emergency preparedness, their real purpose is to further expand the state's ability to monitor, control, incarcerate, and brutalize its own population, us.
In Oakland, let me hear you! If you haven't already gotten the news, thanks to years of organizing in the San Francisco Bay Area, thanks to years of community grassroots organizing right here in Oakland against police brutality, against militarism, thanks to the Facing Urban Shield Network, which A-Rock is proudly a part of, we have shut down Urban Shield at the Marriott next year. This is a huge victory, and we don't take it lightly, but we also want city officials, especially Jean Quan, to know it is no thanks to her. It is thanks to our efforts on the ground, organizing our communities day in and day out to challenge police repression, to challenge the state, to challenge Jean Quan and her sanctioning of Urban Shield for the last few years. It is because of us that we've stopped Urban Shield at the Marriott next year.
We were in Ferguson 2 days after Michael Brown was killed. We were in the street with the youth in the community that was out there. We witnessed the militarization in Ferguson. Oakland is being prepared just like Ferguson police were prepared for what happened. But I'm going to tell you, united we stand, divided we will fall. So let us, no matter what, stay united, because them youth, that community stood and faced off with that militarization, and they know today that as long as they stand, a change will come. But what's more important for you to know, they recognize Oakland. They asked me about Oakland, and they're on their way here because they've heard how Oakland has stood up.
Look, African Americans and Latinos are struggling to make a living, and they are taking that away from them, and they are placing them either in prison or they are shooting our people. So we want that to stop. And it's not just a color no more. It's a human thing now.
So I want to tell you I love you. I'm here. I've been organizing for 4 years because I feel y'all, because I was like y'all. I was blind too. I had a big old 3-bedroom house, big nice car. Every year I want to buy me a car. So I know how you think. But check this out. Death knocked at my door. And guess what? It was my baby boy. And his name was James Rivera, 16 years old. My son was full of life. My son was full of love. When they took my son, they took a piece of me. And long as his blood is on these streets, I'm gonna continue to march. And I don't give a damn if we have to march whatever, because I ain't going nowhere. And God bless.